Clean energy is one of the 4 sub-trends. Can you tell us more about clean energy?
So clean energy is clearly the starting point to decarbonising the planet. Everything needs to effectively move to electricity, and the electricity that we generate needs to be renewable. So if we look at this trend today, what we're showing you on this slide here is this is the energy consumption in 2018 globally. So this is how we get all our energy. And effectively 20% of it comes from electricity, but a whole bunch comes from oil, gas, coal, and others. When you get to 2050, you're going to need at least 50% of all generation or all power generation globally to be electricity. And so the simple way to think about this is that you have clean grids that drive clean cars or clean grids that drive clean buildings. And so from that point of view, not only does electricity have to grow share, but renewable share of electricity has to grow share. And so even though electricity goes from 19% to 50%, only 20% of that 19% is renewable today. So renewable has to go from 20% to 60% of something that goes from 20% to 50%. So you see where I'm getting to. You get to this 10 times growth in renewable power globally. And you're really looking at 10x globally over that time frame. The second thing to be very clear about here is that the cost of these technologies are clearly going down. So we have an economic imperative to do it also. And so when we look at this and we look at the opportunity here, this next slide just is a good example of the wind market globally. So today in onshore wind, this is the amount of capacity we have installed on the slide on the left. And this is where we need to get to by 2050 if we're going to hit those targets. And on the right-hand side, we're showing you offshore wind. This is the amount of capacity installed today. And this is where we need to get to by 2050 in offshore wind. And the interesting stat this year, I think, in offshore wind is they actually sanctioned more offshore wind projects this year than are currently installed in the planet. And so you are looking at this exponential growth that we're trying to exploit here when we're looking at these companies. Just following the wind example onwards, from our point of view, the obvious place to look at would be the wind turbine OEMs. The people who build the wind turbines are clearly going to be winners of this trend. The whole total addressable market is going to grow dramatically, not just for building the turbines, but also servicing the turbines in the future. But yet, when we look at this industry today, it's really dominated by 3 operators, being Vestas Wind Systems, GE, and Siemens Gamesa. They essentially dominate this market. And yes, competition is coming, but it is very hard to get financing from a bank to build a project with, say, a Chinese or an Indian wind turbine manufacturer. So these companies effectively have this all to themselves. And so one of the companies we like in the fund a lot is Vestas. We're not paying a huge multiple. We're paying sort of 15 times EBITDA or 25, 30 times earnings for a company that has this huge runway of growth in front of it. Clearly, there will be execution missteps along the way, but the trend is very much in its favour, and that's why we like that one a lot. The other company we'd flag, which is also in Denmark, is Orsted. It's the world's largest. This company is a developer, so they're obviously developing these offshore wind projects, but they are the largest developer in the world today. They have the expertise. When Taiwan Semiconductor wants to shift their foundries to renewable energy, they do it with an offshore wind farm, offshore Taiwan. Who do they call? They call Orsted. And so Orsted we see as a big winner over time and effectively going to become a super major of renewable energy as this energy transition continues.